Every great RPG has side quests. So why do we treat ours like failures? That side quest you thought slowed you down, it might have been the real mission all along. This is Between the Save Points. No filter, no final form necessary. Welcome, my fellow in-betweeners. I'm your host, Shima. This is the second episode of Rewriting Your Origin Story, focusing on real-life side quests. Today, we're leaning into a powerful reminder that every detour you've taken, every unexpected chapter, they all count. We often forget this when we're trying to figure it all out, but every detour counts. You know what I mean, right? Those moments where life didn't go the way you planned, the unexpected jobs, the relationships that didn't last, the hobbies you picked up randomly and maybe even later dropped. Those weren't distractions. They were development. They were all experiences that have helped you level up. In this episode, we're giving flowers to these side quests, the moments that didn't fit the plan but changed everything. We're here to reframe the messy middle, the jobs, relationships, and hobbies that seemed pointless, not as wasted time, but as critical pieces of your personal story. They weren't setbacks. You weren't off track. You were building lore. You were adding the second, third, and fourth layers to your story, the ones that make it unforgettable. If you've ever felt like you were on the wrong path, I want you to stay tuned, as you will find those off-track moments were an essential part of your journey. Let me ask you something. How often do you feel like life is throwing you off course? Maybe you feel like you're missing the mark, taking the wrong turns, or being distracted from your true purpose. Maybe you're watching other people hit milestones while you're feeling stuck in some side alley, wondering if you missed your shot. We live in a culture that glorifies the straight path, but is that how it goes in real life? Not really. Honestly, it rarely works like that. In reality, life is full of twists and turns. But those twists and turns provide the richest lessons. It's those side quests, all the weird winding parts that happen in life, that level you up the most. And those unexpected moments are usually exactly what we needed to grow in ways we hadn't anticipated. Wait, let me step back a moment. Do you know what I mean when I say side quest? I've been tossing the term around without defining it. You see, in gaming, a side quest is the optional stuff, the uncanny little missions that take you away from the main storyline. You don't have to do them to finish the game. But the best players know that's where the growth happens. That's where you find rare items, build or learn new skills, meet the most interesting characters, discover hidden parts of the world, and unlock your story's deeper layers and meaning. Your story becomes way richer. The same goes for real life. If you haven't guessed it by now, I've been there too. One of the biggest side quests I've ever took was dropping out of college, my junior year, with a lot of debt, and joining the military. That was not in the original plan. As a matter of fact, it was so far from the plan, I checked for other options so that I could avoid it. It was a plot twist I didn't ask for. But my grades were so bad that my junior year might as well had never happened, and no school was willing to take me without doubling and tripling my debt. I felt pretty lost and definitely left behind when old classmates were graduating and getting to the fields they studied for while I was trying to stay above water. I didn't know then that it would end up being the best unplanned side quest I ever did in my game of life. That detour gave me discipline, structure, and a crash course in adapting into high-stakes environments and succeeding, things I never would have learned in the classroom. Oh, and it also helped me become debt-free. Believe me, it didn't look like a win at the time, but in the long run, it gave me peace of mind and so many tools I still use today. That one choice pivoted me toward a completely different version of my purpose I would have never discovered had I not dropped out. So that year you spent freelancing after a layoff, or that relationship that didn't last but taught you your worth and what your non-negotiables are, they weren't wrong turns. Those weren't distractions. They were your training grounds. They were XP, aka experience points, building moments you needed to level up. They were growth, your lore, and none of it was wasted. So why are we so quick to dismiss them? The real life detours. The paths we feel derailed us and seemed more like a roadblock than a valuable experience. Most of us grew up with a linear mindset. You know the drill. Graduate, get a job, get married, buy a house, check all the boxes, and then boom, success. And anything outside of that, the delays, the pivots, the failures, felt like an embarrassment or shame. It didn't feel like you were winning the game. But why? Why don't we talk about the jobs we hated, the dreams that shifted, the identities we outgrew? Why do we see these non-linear paths as failures instead of hidden victories that we've overcome and won? Because we've been fed a narrow vision of success, and anything that doesn't look like a checklist feels like a setback, a defeat, even if it was necessary. When we experience twists and turns, we don't always celebrate them. We hide them because we're scared people will see us as behind, lost, or broken. But let me say this clearly. Time spent discovering who you are is never wasted. You aren't broken, lost, or behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Think about it. When did a detour lead you somewhere you didn't expect, but needed, leading you to unforeseen wisdom or a deeper understanding of your own toughness? Detours teach us resilience. Those side quests sharpened our adaptability. They built empathy, grit, patience, and gave us stories and scars. In today's world, that's not a weakness. That's power. That's depth. That's currency. And they are exactly what you need for this week's mini mission. If you've been here before, you already know what this is. But if you haven't, each episode I offer you a small but meaningful action to take, a checkpoint to help you slow down, notice where you are on the map, and keep moving with intention. It's time to give those side quests in your life the honor they've earned by creating your side quest Codex. Now you might be like, wait, what's a Codex? Let me explain. In video games, especially story-driven or fantasy games, a codex is like an in-game encyclopedia. It's where all the important background information resides. Character bios, lore entries, item descriptions, plot recaps, side quests. Basically, it holds all the deep world building that gives the game its richness. So your side quest codex is a personal archive of the moments in your life that might have seemed like detours, failures, or forgotten chapters, but actually hold powerful lessons, growth, and identity-shaping experiences. Think of it like this. The Codex is where you give context to your chaos. It's where you turn confusion into clarity, and it's where your "why did I go through that?" turns into that's part of my lore. It's your proof that your story's deeper than just a highlight reel, and that every twist has taught you something. Here's how it works. In step 1, you pick a detour, a job, a dream, a relationship, or a pivot that didn't go as planned. Something that felt like a failure or setback, but ended up shaping you. Got it? Cool. Hold on to that. For step 2, you're going to give the detour the Codex treatment, like a video game lore file for your real life. Set it up like this. Give it a quest name. Basically, what would you call this side quest? Name the challenge, the things that made it hard, messy, or confusing. And then recognize the loop. What you walked away with, whether it be insight, a skill, or a boundary, or even XP. Last, you're going to give it a tagline, a one-liner that captures why it mattered. Upon completing this mission, you'll see what that detour really gave you. Here's an example. Quest name, the 13-year side quest. Challenge, ran out of funds, dropped out, and joined the military just to unlock a new path. Loop, perspective, persistence, discipline, proof that timelines aren't the main story, and a degree that came with a whole new story. Lore tagline, I didn't follow the path, I poured the pavement. This one is mine. It's about how I went to college and ended up dropping out. It would take me a career change in 13 more years before I would finally get my degree. And know what? It was one of the best detours I ever made. Now that you started your side quest codex, let's talk about why that matters. Because look, your codex isn't just a way to feel better about the past. It's a database of every skill you've earned, every lesson you fought for, every plot twist you endured and kept moving through, navigating the uncertainty. The skills you learned when no one was clapping yet, that's not just resume filler, that's creative resilience. That season where everything fell apart but you kept going, that's your origin story for the kind of strength you carry now. It's proof that you can do it again. It's your personal inventory. It's where your tools, skills, and scars are stored, not to be forgotten, but drawn on when the next challenge comes. So don't hide those chapters in your life. Use them, speak from them, build with them. You're going to face new challenges, but here's the thing, you're not starting from scratch anymore. When the new challenge arrives, you'll be ready. Not because you stuck to a perfect plan, but because you learned how to pivot, to trust yourself, and to start over when you had to. You stop shrinking your story to fit someone else's timeline. That's legacy level growth. You don't have to wait until you've made it to be proud of your path. So when someone asks about the time you left that job, or dropped out of school, or how you ended up where you are now, you don't have to say it with shame. Instead, tell them with confidence, I didn't fail, I forged new tools. I wasn't lost, I was learning and leveling up. That didn't set me back, it gave me wisdom and clarity. And that wasn't wasted time, it was lore in the making. The way you speak about your side quest becomes the way you reclaim your power. So the next time you hit a rough patch, remember what you've already survived and know that you're not starting over. Operate with full confidence that you've been building range this whole time. Let your next move be informed by your past, not in fear of it. Because when you own your side quest, you walk into your next chapter with full narrative control. Understand, you didn't miss your path, you built it. Once you acknowledge that, it is okay to take a pause and save at this week's save point. At the end of every episode, we'll stop to take a moment of reflection. Think of it as a journal prompt, a moment to pause, think, and take inventory of where you are on the journey. This isn't about tying things up with a bow. It's about checking in with yourself, honestly, gently, fully. As you pause here, consider this. How have the unexpected side quests in your life guided your growth? What would you have missed if everything had gone exactly as planned? Give yourself time to think about it, reflect on it, journal it, own it. Consider this your personal checkpoint, not a cutscene, not a milestone, just a pause to see what you've picked up along the way. That's it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. If this episode hit home, I'd love for you to share it with someone who's questioning their path right now. Someone who thinks they're off track when really they're just deep in a side quest that's shaping who they are becoming. Remind them you're not behind, you're building lore. Whenever this finds you, whether you're in the middle of a plot twist or on your way back from one, just know that chapter still counts. That detour still matters. That version of you still deserves a save point. Tag me at Between the Save Points and use the hashtag #MiddleLore to share your Codex entry, a past detour you're honoring, or even your save point moment. Leave a review or a voice note and let me know you were here so I can cheer you on. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe because next we're talking about what happens when you come back to the game with new tools, new wisdom, and new game plus main character energy. No guidebook needed, just curiosity, courage, and a willingness to press start again and again. Until then, trust your timing, celebrate your detours, and keep building your story one quest at a time. No filter, no final form necessary. I'll see you at the next checkpoint.